Welcome to the Holy Mischief Podcast. Here we shine a light on the hidden gems of Cartersville and Bartow County. Helpers, creators, and everyday heroes spreading love and kindness in extraordinary ways. Think of us as Mr. Rogers for adults, sharing stories that spark hope, joy, and a little bit of holy mischief along the way. Pull up a seat, neighbor. It's time to meet the incredible people making a difference in your backyard. Hey friends, we're back with the Holy Mischief Podcast. I am Pastor Shannon Carafonda. I'm the pastor at Trinity United Methodist Church, and we are here at Georgia Highlands College. They have an amazing room here called The Mic, and it is a way for people in the community to do podcasts. And so I have with me Stephen Schumacher.
Hello.
Tell us a little bit about who you are, how you came to this spot, and I want us to talk about what we just did in the hallway.
That was fun. Great way to kick it off.
Yeah.
So I'm originally grew up in Connecticut, New England, moved down to Georgia here back in 2013, and was in the hotel industry, started in the hotel industry, and it's good. It's a little cutthroat. It's like, what have you done for me lately, quarter by quarter?
Okay.
And then I discovered this destination marketing world, or as people know it, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, and I did that on the sales side of things in Dunwoody at Discover Dunwoody for about 6 years, right into the pandemic. My boss at the time had went out to visit Athens, go Dogs, where UGA is. And I was the interim for a short period of time while we got, through a new director. And as we were doing that, COVID hit. And so we paused the search. And then 15 months later, I was still the interim director, got a really good feel for what it was like to run an organization like that. Dunwoody and I had a parting of ways, but then this Cartersville gig came to the table. Didn't know much about Cartersville other than the Telescience Museum off of 75. And then my wife and I visiting back when we first moved here, we went to the Covered Bridge in New Harley and went to the Etowah Indian Mounds a long time ago, not knowing it was part of this destination, but applied for the gig, replacing Ellen, who retired after 30 years, Ellen Archer, and got into this tourism world. And it's been really fun because I'm sure you and everyone listening who's from here knows there is a lot to do in Bartow County. And so my job is to run the tourism team for all of Cartersville and Bartow County.
So I think it is Georgia's best kept secret.
Yes.
I was surprised just how much rich, diverse types of things there are to do here. And I feel like a tourist every day, and I've been here 2 years now.
A lot of people say that because there's always something new coming online, a new museum, a new hotel, a new restaurant for people to go check out. So that's certainly true.
I still have a Cartersville bucket list of places I haven't been or things that I haven't done.
That's great.
What has been most surprising about your job and about Bartow County in particular?
Twofold question there, because the most surprising has been how much we have. Obviously, on its surface, the museums, we rebranded ourselves recently to Cartersville Museum City. A lot of these destinations say visit or discover or explore. And we tried a little bit of the only in Cartersville, Bartow, and it wasn't really catching on, but we knew the museums were our biggest stronghold. And after a lot of research, the museum part of it really resonates. A lot of my peers in the industry wish they had a thing, like a big river or something or a museums, and we do. So when you lean into that thing that you have, is really beneficial to capture the attention and then explain what else we have. So learning all of the ins and outs of what we have here in the community, plus us running the Clarence Brown Conference Center and Pine Acres out at the Lake Altoona, that was different. A lot of my peers don't have those assets to run as well. And then, as you know, and when this airs, the train depot will be open, called the Depot, which is our new visitor center that's opening downtown. So a lot of moving parts. But on the Bartow side, I've never in my life experienced a community like this. From Cartersville, Harley, Adairsville, everyone in between, Emerson, and all of Bartow is some of the most philanthropic, generous people I've ever met in my entire life.
100%.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. There are statistics about giving and people who are generous, and I'm just amazed all the time. It's not just in my church. Very generous people, but it's also the community. There'll be a fundraiser and be thousands and thousands of dollars. And then another month later, there's a different one for another cause. And people will show up, they'll show out, and they'll give. It's a really, really amazing.
And it's money mixed with time and passion and dedication. I mean, I did Dances with the Stars this year, which was my first big push into trying something different. I'm not a dancer. I like musicals, and I, did marching band, which is not really dancing, but as a high schooler. But it was a really rewarding experience to dance with Bobby, who was in the school system, has done it for a long time, show up that night, raise the most they've ever raised. Every year they break their own record because everyone's donating. And to see how many people just support something like that. And then I think the previous week or 2 weeks prior, there was the Red Doors big event
Right.
that raised 100 grand or something more like that. And the time commitment, we talked about Tim Abbott earlier about going out in the box at night and showing what that means to people who are homeless. And I feel like I need to do more on my end personally. And I've done professional stuff like we met in Leadership Bartow, and
Right.
I was a chamber ambassador, and now this. But there's so much that you can get involved in. I mean, all you have to do is ask someone, what should I do to give some of my time? And they'll give you a scroll of how much there is to do in Bartow.
Right.
And no one will be offended if you pick one over the other. It's just more about giving back and being there for the people of this community.
Yeah, and it's still has a small town feel.
Oh, yes, for
but
sure.
but it has great museums and great places to stay and to live, to play. I mean, it's really an amazing community. Do you have a story to tell us? Maybe about extravagant generosity or kindness or something that maybe you noticed when you first started working here that kind of stayed in your heart?
So the first guy I ever met was Lance Berry. Everybody knows Lance Berry. He's retired now, and he's been someone that dedicates a lot of his time to bringing people here and showing them off from, either the economic side with jobs or economic development.
Or highlighting Georgia Highlands. Yeah, he's a trustee. Yeah.
Huge advocate for that. He was the first one to really take me in and say, I'm going to come across as very forward, and a lot of people know who I am, and I rub people the wrong way, or people love me. He's like, it doesn't matter. You and I are going to meet people together, and when you're good and you feel like you have the people and the attention on your own without my help, I'll back off and just be your peer. And I was like, okay, this guy seems pretty interesting. And from there, it took off. I got cell phone numbers and different information from people, different fundraising opportunities, and he was very good about that. And then about a year in, I was like, Lance, I think I've got my bearings thanks to your time and efforts of all that, and step back. And from there, it was like onward. And he does that with everybody. You always see him pull in someone and then push them back on their own and let them go and do that. That was kind of on more of the professional, personal side. As far as a story that sticks with me was probably that first Dances with the Stars, because it's at Clarence Brown where my office is. And someone said, are you going to go tonight? And I was like, well, I can sneak in because my office is there. I don't have to pay for a ticket. And so put on a sport coat and was like thinking it'd be this cute little dance off thing, and they raised some money. Then I saw the pomp and circumstance of it and the people, the big names that were in it. I think that was the year Jesse Weaver was in it. Dean and his wife, Kimberly from Drown Valley, were in it. So I'm like, these are big time influencers in the community, spending their time to dance, raising the money that I saw that they raised. And from that minute on, I said to Doug, I want to do this one day. Give me some time, but I got to be a part of this because I want to help fundraise, give back. And I think that was kind of the first thing where I noticed that people were that invested into doing something, to learn a dance for 3 months and then dance in front of 700 people who know you. And at the time, I didn't feel it'd be weird because I didn't know anybody. Well, then when I stepped foot on that stage in March, I knew half the room, probably 80% of the room.
Yeah.
And to know that half of my board was sitting right there, and my wife and kids were there, it was like, this is intense, but it was worth it knowing what you're doing to support that community. And then going to the actual shelter and meeting people when you're going to talk to Doug and saying hello to the kids watching the cartoons, and you're like, this is why you do it, to help people. So
yeah. I really hope to have someone from Good Neighbor on at some point. Tell me a little bit about, so I hope dancing next year.
All right.
I have put my name in the hat.
I remember your name being on the list when we did our debrief afterwards. So who were some people in the community? And I remember.
Okay, yeah. So because that night I was like, this is so exciting. Yeah. I really want to do this. What advice do you have for someone who's going to do this?
Yes. Be fully committed in knowing that you have to dance at least twice a week starting in the new year. So they kick off in like November, and in January, if you can go at least twice a week, start off slow. Get with your partner. Are you going to dance with a partner at the time? Or,
I hope so.
Yeah. So they either do spouse, partners, something like that. So whoever you get assigned to, you'll be able to start practicing. And then know that you're going to hit a wall. You will 100%. Jesse Weaver told me this. I happened to hit my wall the night before, which is not ideal. That's when she hit her wall, though.
Okay.
So she then told me, because we talked about it the next morning, and she said, I had my best performance ever, though, when I danced. So know that within a few weeks out, you're going to get stressed. You're going to miss some steps and go, I got to do this in 2 weeks, and I'm going to screw up. The second bit of advice is the most of the people there have had some sort of libation the night of the event.
Okay.
Some have had many libations. So when you realize that you're dancing in front of people who are relaxed and there for the moment and with friends, it's not as tense as you're making it because they're relaxed. They're here to have a good time. Everybody supports everybody. It's so loud. And then just kind of just let it all take over. Take it in, stop when you're out there, look at everything. And then just know that you're doing it for the fundraising. You're doing it for the fun dancing part, but the money, the people you're going to help, that's what pushes you across the finish line, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so we thank you for that, first of all.
Sure.
We had a little teaser that we haven't circled back to yet. Mm-hmm. We just did an act of holy mischief in the hallway. You want to tell people what we did and how that made you feel?
That was great. We did sticky notes, bright colored sticky notes on someone's door here at Highlands College who's not here today, who will come in, and we put about a dozen, maybe 14 sticky notes of just positive affirmation, from just general phrases to very specific things about today or the weather. And I know that having an office door, if I came to my office door and had 14 sticky notes on it that said things that were positive about me, the day, just life in general, I think that would get me going on the right foot at 8 a.m. when I checked in on a Wednesday or Thursday. So that was really fun. Yeah. Surprisingly, I was like, oh, this will be cute. And then when you get out there and you put it on the door and they're all near each other, that's when you say, okay.
What was the favorite saying that you put on one of yours? Because I loved some of yours.
What did I say on one of them? Do you remember? It was
something about being cool.
Oh, hot. Yeah, I said, today might be hot, but you're cool. Which lasts for all of summer because it's very hot.
Right, it's always hot.
Just the parking lot over to here, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be so sweaty on this video. Yes.
What do people not know about Cartersville that they need to know?
It's funny you say that about the hidden gem or the sleepy hidden town, and a lot of we're trying to get rid of that, which is our job. There is something quaint, though, about being the sleepy, I never heard of you type town, because if it's too popular, people feel like it's too much and they don't want to come and visit. So we have to find that delicate balance of being that hidden gem. But I think if you had to pinpoint something specific, I think a lot of people don't really think Roselawn fits the museum and house. That's the Sam Jones house.
Yeah.
Is part of that big mega footprint of museums. You have Savoy, you have Booth, you have Telus, the big ones, and the Bartow History Museum, all supported by Georgia Museums, which is its own foundation. Roselawn is owned by the county, which was Sam Jones's childhood home. And where he grew up as well. His story and what he means to the faith-based community, but then this community, and what he did to end up having the Ryman Auditorium in Nashville built for him.
And his revivals. Yeah, amazing.
Which people don't realize. They're like, why are there pews in here? And it's like, because Thomas Ryman, who was converted watching one of his tent revivals back in the early 1900s, late 1800s, was like, you're not going to do this in a tent anymore, like you're in a circus or something. You're going to have a building for you. And so
I learned more about Sam Jones's history at the Ryman, because there's like a timeline there.
Correct. Yeah. And so we've actually done some marketing with geofencing to try to show folks that museum exists as part of your experience when you go to the Ryman. But, Jane Drew, who runs the museum out there, she's on my board. She's seen a huge uptick since we started marketing with them for that to get, walk-in groups or just, she books crazy weddings there. Of course, the festival's every September. I'm sure as this airs, it'll be a few weeks out until the festival actually happens. But it's just incredible. It's the 50th anniversary this year. I would say Roselawn. I took my parents there when they first came here and some friends, and you think you're going to be in and out in 20 minutes, and you can do a good hour and a half if Jane's giving you the tour to give you every little detail that's in the house, from the beauty of it, but also the history and the people that made that place so special.
Yeah, it is beautiful. I live downtown, so I will often purposely walk past just to be able to look at it because it's so pretty.
It's stunning. It's certainly one of the ones that we promote in our own way. And if you pop into our visitor center that's opening up at downtown in the Depot, we have a little nod to all the museums, and the one we did for Roselawn is really special. So you'll see that one. It's cool.
Awesome. So one last question. What would you challenge the citizens of Cartersville or Bartow County to do in order to make their community a better place?
Oh, good question. Okay, I thought my head, it always goes towards tourism, and I'm like, oh no, you meant to make it a better place. I like that better.
Which
no, that's
still
better.
Could be tourism.
No, that's better because that I can take my work hat off for a second. To make it a better place, that's tough to say. You immediately think, okay, Old South and, Cartersville outside of the city, you think, maybe not very welcoming to outsiders. And I've seen that change in even the 3 years I've been here, where on my side for tourism, people always joke with me and I always say, I'm your favorite person in the community because I'm not trying to, some folks don't love the growth here. I think it's great, but I get them here and I tell them to leave after they spend all their money. So you spend all their money and then you're out of here. And it's great because we get the taxes and the revenue, but then they're gone. And then I always joke and I say, if they choose to come back and move here, it's because you all were so nice to them. So maybe don't do that. But then I kid and say, don't be mean to my guests. I love that they're so comfortable by coming here. But I think I don't know. It's tough to say because this community is so opening, is so generous. Take this, I would say this fast talking Yankee who came down here and decided to start promoting this whole area for tourism. And everybody I meet has, for the most part, has that Southern accent. It's like my family who comes in from the Northeast thinks it's so charming to hear everybody talking like that. But I'm so used to it now because I'm immersed in it. And they're really.
Do they think you have an accent?
No. In fact, when I go up there and come back and I say I'll say hot dog, but it'll be a lot more like dog. And apparently I don't hear it, but they claim that. And so they'll say, when you go to Connecticut for 10 days, your accent comes out when you come back for like the first week. So
my husband's lived here since college and he'll go back to New York. And
does he have that Rochester, like that upstate? No,
he's a little upstate, but I think he's got a very neutral accent.
Sure.
But he'll go back up to New York and they're like, you have a Southern accent
now.
Oh,
okay, sure.
And every so often I will hear a little Southern drawl come out.
Yeah,
really
I've not adopted. I think I say umbrella now instead of umbrella, which is a little different.
Okay.
My daughter, I caught her saying Bojangles.
Do you mash buttons or do you push buttons?
Push buttons. Yeah. You know, we even call like a roundabout. We call them up there a rotary, which Rotary clubs.
Oh.
In Connecticut, all the roundabouts are sponsored by the Rotary Club of that town, and so the Rotary symbol for the local chapter is always plopped into all the gateway ins and outs of it. So when you grow up, you say take the third leg on the rotary, not the roundabout, which was different for me coming down here because growing up I called it that, a rotary.
All right, I learned something new today.
Yes, yeah. But otherwise, no. Back to your question. I just, I don't know. I think it's hard to tell a community who's already doing so much on the volunteer and working together in the community side of things that they need to do something different. But for me, I think they're continuing that and allowing others to come in. That's maybe just that, maybe being not more welcoming, but being quicker to welcome instead of putting that guard on for a little bit, make sure they're good. Yeah. If they're coming here, if they're going to move here, if they're visiting, if they're having a job here, they immediately want to be a part of the community. As someone who moved into Atlanta right from Connecticut, I wanted to feel a community right away. Yeah. I think that's something that they could do is, don't unabashedly welcome anybody who knows what their intentions are. But for the most part, it seems that the people who come here for a reason, and the people are a big part of that.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for spending time. This has been really
great.
These
things you put a mic in front of me, I end up trying to not take over too much.
I didn't know that about you, so I was very excited. I was gonna have to do a little bit less work. So
well, it's funny. We're at Highlands College. The one guy I think that'll do a little more of this than me is the guy who runs this place. Have you had Mike Hobbs yet?
I have not.
You put me, Mike Hobbs, and Lance Berry in a room together. You can just
record it.
And, because we'll take it over. So I appreciate this time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed today's dose of hope and holy mischief. A big thank you to Trinity United Methodist Church for sponsoring this podcast and supporting stories that uplift our community. Until next time, keep spreading kindness and making a difference. And remember, God loves you, and so do I.